Hi everyone, this is Paul from SpanishWithPaul.com and a very warm welcome to mini course number 5. You can download the free coursebook that accompanies this lesson by clicking the link that you see on the screen right now, and I've also put a link to it in the description box. Remember that we have 4 previous mini courses to this one, and I'll be referencing various things from those in the course of this lesson, so it's important that you've been through all of the material that we covered in those before going on to this one. Finally, remember to always pause the video and think out your own answer whenever I ask a question. It's very important that you interact with the video and do the mental work yourself rather than just sitting back and passively listening to it. So with all that said, let's get started now with mini course number 5. I'm going to begin by showing you a magic trick in Spanish. To say I just would be acabo de. So we have acabo, and it's always followed by de. So acabo de means I just. Now what we do is follow that with a verb. For example, what's the verb to eat? Comer. So to express I just ate, you would take acabo de and follow it with the full verb comer. Acabo de comer. Now, on the surface, this doesn't make any sense in English in a literal translation because we're saying I just to eat, right? Here we have acabo de, I just, followed by the full verb to eat. But this is where the magic trick comes in, because when you use acabo de and you follow it with a verb, that verb always gets turned into the past. Let's look at some more examples. What's the verb to explain? Explicar. Now, how would you say I just explained? Acabo de explicar. How do you say the reason why? El por qué. Now try to say, I just explained the reason why. Acabo de explicar el por qué. How do you say to do it? Hacerlo. Now try to say, I just did it. Acabo de hacerlo. What's the verb to call? Llamar. Now, how would you say, I just called? Acabo de llamar. What's the verb to talk? Hablar. And how do you say, with him? Con él. Now try to say, I just talked with him. Acabo de hablar con él. How do you say with her? Con ella. Now try to say, I just talked with her. Acabo de hablar con ella. What's the word for yesterday? Ayer. Now try to say, I just talked with her yesterday. Acabo de hablar con ella ayer. The word for about in Spanish is sobre. Sobre. And to say the problem would be el problema. Notice a curious thing here. We have the noun ending in a, which normally in Spanish means that it's a feminine word. So you might think that it would be la problema, but it isn't. Problema is a masculine noun in Spanish, so we say el problema. How would you say about the problem? sobre el problema. Now try to say this one. I just talked with him yesterday about the problem. Acabo de hablar con él ayer sobre el problema. We have this verb in English, to find out. And I wonder if you could think of another way to say that in English. Well, you could say to discover, because often in English, to find something out or to discover something, they're interchangeable. And this is what we do in Spanish. We use the verb descubrir, to discover, as a way of expressing to find out. Now this descubrir is a little bit awkward to pronounce, or can be a little bit awkward to pronounce at first. So what I find helps is if you look at the first two syllables here, we have de and sku. So if you just try to rehearse that sound in your mind a little bit, day-sku, sounds a little bit like day school, right? But we're contracting it to day-sku. And then after that, it's easy just to tag on the ending of brir. So once again, we have day-sku, brir. But my advice is to rehearse this sound day-sku, and then tag on brir. And that will help you to get over the little bit of awkward pronunciation we have here, day-sku, brir. So again, this is to discover, and this is how you express to find out in Spanish. Now, after all of that, I wonder if you can say, I just found out. Acabo de descubrir. What about, I just found out the reason why? Acabo de descubrir el porqué. How would you say this one? I just explained the reason why. Acabo de explicar el porqué. Do you remember how to say the truth in Spanish? La verdad. The sound is ver because we have the V, which always gets pronounced like a B. So the first syllable is ver, and then we have dad, la verdad. How would you say, I just found out the truth today? Acabo de descubrir la verdad hoy. What about, I just discovered the problem here? Acabo de descubrir el problema aquí. Do you remember the verb to arrive? Llegar. Llegar. Here we have a double L, which sounds like a Y in Spanish. So we have ye followed by gar, llegar. How would you say, I just arrived? Acabo de llegar. I just arrived yesterday. Acabo de llegar ayer. Let's move into some extended sentences now. And again, you'll need to be able to recall things from the previous courses. First of all, how would you say he can't? No puede. And how would you say to be here? Estar aquí. Now, how would you say, I just found out the reason why he can't be here today? Just do it step by step. Acabo de descubrir el por qué no puede estar aquí hoy. So we have I just discovered, meaning I just found out the reason why he can't be here today. Do you remember the word for about? Sobre. And how would you say what happened? ¿Qué pasó? This is from mini course 4. Remember, we have to put our stress over the O in order to be understood. ¿Qué pasó? Is what happened. Now, how would you say, I just found out the truth about what happened yesterday? Acabo de descubrir la verdad sobre qué pasó ayer. What's the word for last night? Anoche. And how do you say the house? La casa. Now, try this one. I just talked with her last night about the problem with the house. Acabo de hablar con ella anoche sobre el problema con la casa. So here we have our magic trick in Spanish, where we use acabo de for I just, followed by any verb. The magic trick being that when you use acabo de, it turns the verb that follows into the past. Now, we can also do this for other angles. For example, he just or she just. And that is very easy. You simply go back to acabo de, and we're going to replace this O with an A. So the sound we get is acaba, acaba, and all the rest remains the same. For example, let's go back to our verb to eat. What is that in Spanish? Comer. Now try to say, he just ate. Acaba de comer. What about she just arrived? Acaba de llegar. What's the verb to call? Llamar. And how would you say to call me? Llamarme. Here we have the verb to call llamar, and we're tagging on me. Llamarme, to call me. Now try to say, she just called me yesterday. Acaba de llamarme ayer. What about this one? He just found out what happened yesterday. Acaba de descubrir qué pasó ayer. How would you say, he just found out the truth? Acaba de descubrir la verdad. Do you remember the verb to tell? Decir. And how would you say, to tell me? Decirme. Once again, we just hook on me to the end of the verb. Decirme is to tell me. Now, how would you say, he just told me? Acaba de decirme. He just told me what happened yesterday. Acaba de decirme qué pasó ayer. What's the word for last night? Anoche. Now try to say, she just told me the reason why last night. Acaba de decirme el porqué anoche. The word que can be used for a lot of different things in Spanish. One of the things that it can be used for is that. The word that. Now, I'd like you to look at the two following examples. We have, he just told me he can't do it, and he just told me that he can't do it. Now, both would sound correct in English. The point here being is that in English we have the option whether to include the word that in these types of sentences. It's implied, but you have the option to put it in or leave it out. Now, in Spanish, you do not have that option. Whenever that is implied, you're going to put it in. So, he just told me he can't do it would be acaba de decirme que. We throw in the that, even though in English we have the choice to leave it out. Okay, so it's very important that whenever it's implied in Spanish, you're going to throw it in. So, he just told me that would be acaba de decirme que. How would you say he can't do it? No puede hacerlo. Now let's try to put both elements together. How would you say, he just told me he can't do it today? Acaba de decirme que no puede hacerlo hoy. What about, she just told me she can't be here tomorrow? Acaba de decirme que no puede estar aquí mañana. Notice here again, I left the word that out. She just told me that she can't be here because I have the option in English, but in Spanish I do not. I have to put in the que wherever it's implied. So we have acaba de decirme que no puede estar aquí mañana. What's the verb for to work? Trabajar. We have trabajar. Trabajar. How would you say he has to work? Tiene que trabajar. Now try to say, he just told me he can't be here tomorrow because he has to work. Again, go step by step. Acaba de decirme que no puede estar aquí mañana porque tiene que trabajar. Let's break this one down. We have, he just told me, acaba de decirme, that he can't be here, que no puede estar aquí tomorrow, mañana, because he has to work. So we have porque, he has to is tiene que, to work, trabajar. How do you say with you? Contigo. Now try to say, she just told me she doesn't want to talk with you. Acaba de decirme que no quiere hablar contigo. What about this one? He just discovered the reason why she doesn't want to be here now. Acaba de descubrir el por qué no quiere estar aquí hoy. So far, we've been using this magic trick exclusively at the start of sentences, but you can also throw it in the middle of sentences as well. And this is what we're going to explore now. First of all, let's just recall some vocabulary. What's the verb to call? Llamar. And how would you say to call you? We covered this in course 4. Llamarte. Here we have the verb llamar, and te means you. So to call you would be llamarte. One more. What's the verb to go out? Salir. Now, let's try to put it all together into a jumbo sentence. How would you say, she wants to call you because she just discovered that she can't go out tonight because she has to work? Again, pause and think it out step by step. Here's the answer for you. It would be, quiere llamarte porque acaba de descubrir que no puede salir esta noche porque tiene que trabajar. We have she wants, quiere, to call you llamarte, quiere llamarte, because she just discovered or she just found out, porque acaba de descubrir, that she can't, que no puede, go out tonight, salir esta noche, because she has to work, porque she has to is tiene que, to work, trabajar. Let's do one more. How would you say, I can't do it today because he just told me that I have to work? It would be, no puedo hacerlo hoy porque acaba de decirme que tengo que trabajar. Do you remember how to say I know? Sé. How would you say I know that it's important? Sé que es importante. Now try this one. I know that it's important, but I can't be here today because I just found out I have to work. Sé que es importante, pero no puedo hacerlo hoy porque acabo de descubrir que tengo que trabajar. Here we have, I know that it's important, sé que es importante, but I can't do it, pero no puedo hacerlo today, hoy, because I just found out, porque acabo de descubrir. Here you can see the magic trick happening in the middle of a sentence. That I have to work. Que I have to is tengo que work, trabajar. What's the verb to see? We did this in mini course 3. Ver. This V always sounds like a B, the letter B in English. So the sound is ver. This means to see. Now, if we wanted to express to see him, we take ver and we would add on lo. This lo represents him. So to see him is verlo. Again, you contract it together. To see and then him, verlo. How would you say, I just saw him? Acabo de verlo. I just saw him yesterday. Acabo de verlo ayer. To say at the party, in Spanish it would be in the party. It would be en la fiesta. So instead of saying at here, they say in the party. En la, and this is fi, followed by esta. Fiesta is the party. En la fiesta. Now try to say, I just saw him at the party. Acabo de verlo en la fiesta. If you wanted to say to see her, again you would take ver, but this time you would add la. This la represents her. So the sound you get is verla, verla. How would you say, I just saw her at the party last night? Acabo de verla en la fiesta anoche. I'd like to revisit something that we covered quite extensively now in courses 2 and 3, because it's very important that we learn new material, but also that we retain the things we've already learned and incorporate them into what we're doing now. So I wonder if you can remember how to say, I would like. Me gustaría. This ría sound with an accent over the I is would. So what we're literally saying is, to me, it would be pleasing. This is how you express I would like. Me gustaría. How would you say, I would like to see her? Me gustaría verla. I would like to see him today. Me gustaría verlo hoy. So here we switched from la to lo for him. How would you say, I wouldn't like? No me gustaría. I wouldn't like to do it. No me gustaría hacerlo. The word for again in Spanish is otra vez. Vez means time, and otra vez means another time. So this is how they express the word again in Spanish. Otra vez. Notice also the pronunciation on the V, once again, sounds like a B in Spanish. So we have otra vez. How would you say, I wouldn't like to see her again? No me gustaría verla otra vez. I wouldn't like to do it again. No me gustaría hacerlo otra vez. The verb to go is very simple in Spanish. It's simply ir. Ir. Literally sounds like the English word for an ear, right? But obviously the spelling is very different. So ir means to go. How would you say, I would like to go with you? Me gustaría ir contigo. To say all day in Spanish is todo el día. Notice that just like problema, the noun, here we have a word ending in A, but it's not la día, right? It's el día. So this word belongs to that little group of exceptions. The day is el día. And todo means all. So the way that you say all day in Spanish is literally all the day. Todo el día. Now let's try and put it all together into another jumbo sentence. How would you say, I would like to go with you, but I can't, because I just found out I have to be here all day. Here's the answer for you. Me gustaría ir contigo, pero no puedo, porque acabo de descubrir que tengo que estar aquí todo el día. So breaking it down, we have I would like to go. Me gustaría ir. To me, it would be pleasing to go. And with you is contigo. But I can't. Pero no puedo. Because, porque, I just found out or I just discovered. Acabo de descubrir. That I have to. Que tengo que. Be here would be estar aquí, and all day, todo el día. This is how we handle long phrases in Spanish. You just put one building block on top of the other and take it step by step. To finish off, let's work our way through a quick vocabulary drill. If you need more time, remember to pause the video and think out your answer. Here we go. How do you say I just? Acabo de. He or she just. Acaba de. To eat. Comer. To explain. Explicar. The reason why. El por qué. To do. Hacer. To do it. Hacerlo. To call. Llamar. To call me. Llamarme. To tell. Decir. To tell me. Decirme. To talk. Hablar. With him. Con él. With her. Con ella. With you. Contigo. Yesterday. Ayer. Today. Hoy. About. Sobre. The problem. El problema. To discover. Descubrir. The truth. La verdad. To arrive. Llegar. What happened? ¿Qué pasó? Last night. Anoche. The house. La casa. That. ¿Qué? To work. Trabajar. To go out. Salir. I know. Sé. Important. Importante. To see. Ver. To see him. Verlo. to see her, verla, at the party, en la fiesta. Alright, so a very big congratulations for completing mini course number 5. I know that many of you are experiencing a newfound confidence and self-belief that this is something you actually can do. Remember that the most important thing with language learning is not talent or having an aptitude for languages, it's simple consistency. So keep going, don't stop, keep watching the videos, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the next lesson.